Welcome to Be Her with Chelon. This is a space for women who are tired of fixing, forcing, and holding it all together. A space to slow down, regulate, and remember who you are beneath the role, the expectation, and the labels. We'll talk nervous system healing, identity, relationships, embodiment, and spiritual truth without bypassing and without pressure to perform. You're not broken. You're remembering who you are. Join me for today's episode of Be Her with Chelon. Thank you, everyone, for being here again and joining me. I'm excited to continue with the podcast, and I'm really hoping to get it out weekly for everybody to just have that little bit of support to start your week off with. Last week's episode, I was re-listening to it, and one of the parts that I was talking about that I felt like needed a little bit of additional clarity was how we were talking about embodying like the things that you see in other people, right? Like maybe somebody is a great leader and maybe they're courageous, maybe they're confident, maybe they're all these things, right? But you're wanting to also like be those things. And the reason you're so drawn to that is because they're already within you. Okay. It's not about like copying that person or doing the things that they're doing and everything. It's about like embodying those aspects of yourself that you see within them and making them your own. Okay. There's lots of people. I was actually just listening to something this morning that was, the girl was talking about who do you follow, right? Like who do you look up to for guidance and everything else that you like, that's the path where you're wanting to go down, right? It's about finding other people that have already done those things, right? And so that you know how you can go about your own journey, right, of becoming that similar leader or that similar guide or guru or whatever it is that you're working towards being, right? But making it your own in the same thing. I was just listening to something else yesterday as well that they were talking about, like the path is already there. Like somebody's already done this. Whatever it is that you're wanting to do, somebody's already done this. Okay. Like the steps are already there for you. And it's about just like following those steps, but also making them your own in the same process. Right. And there's always going to be learning lessons and there's always going to be like failures, but like, are they really failures? That's one thing that I've actually really had to work through and towards in my journey is like embracing things that I thought were failures. And one of the biggest ones would be as a mother. It's a fact that I would actually say that, like, I feel like I'm failing every day, like, what is not going to create a very prosperous life for you. That's for sure. If you're like thinking that you're failing at parenting one day, right? Because they say how you do one thing is how you do everything, right? Do all the things. And I guess it wasn't the fact that I felt like I was failing as a mother. It was more so just like, I wish I had known better and I wish I could do better, right? But I know now that all of those things needed to happen. All of the things that happened between my daughters and I needed to happen so that we could do the ancestral healing and shifting and changing and everything else that we needed to do, right? And um, if it could have happened another way, it would have. That was also another big thing that I needed to accept, right? When we can just accept and surrender to what is, that's very, very powerful in itself because your power is in this moment, right? Your decisions, your choices, whatever it is that you do in this moment, that is what shapes what is going to happen in the future, right? So they actually say, you know, when women pride themselves on multitasking and being able to get a million things done at one time, but doing a million things at one time is the equivalent of doing things high. So you're better off to just focus and do one thing at a time, and do it like well, right? And then that's going to help you with like not probably having to redo it. That's been me. I've had to redo a million things sometimes just because I've been trying to do all these other things at the same time, right? But we're just off the cusp of Christmas and or off the cusp. We've just wrapped up Christmas and we're on the cusp of New Year's. And I know each and every one of you is really going to be focused on like the whole concept of lots of people go into the new year, new me, right? Um, and I've never made goals for New Year's. Like I really never have. I'm always setting intentions and I'm always creating with like the new moon and the portals and the astrological numbers and all of the things that we have to support us throughout the year, right? I'm always tapped in that way. However, this beginning of this year is actually a very powerful year in the fact that it's a 1 year and the date in general, like January 1st. So, like, we already have a 111 portal, right? And if you want to go even further into that and start working with like doing your meditations or manifesting or whatever it is at like the time 111 or like that in itself, it's quite powerful. And I love working with those energies in general. And I feel like just this past year, I've felt like I haven't really been as tapped into that as I have been. But yeah, January 1st is going to be a very powerful day in itself to set intentions. Okay. Um, like I said, goals. There's lots of goals that I have set that have not happened within the year. Um, and I've had to come to realize that that is okay. It is okay that those goals have not come to fruition yet. Okay. And I'm saying yet because we're also talking about this embodiment piece of everything, right? This is the Be Her podcast, right? It's about embodying the person that, you know, you're meant to be, okay? But it's a journey. It is really a journey in itself, okay? And it's about unraveling, right? This past 2025 was like an unraveling, a stripping away. Like people have, I personally, I know myself, have never felt so like vulnerable in my life with so many things stripped away that I thought were strong and solid and stable. And I like just remember standing here at one point in time and being like, what the actual fuck? What is going on, right? There's so many things that just crumbled before me and there was nothing I could do about it but accept it and move on because I know that it's part of the process and that it's part of the journey and that those things that need to be let go of so that I can build these new things on a stronger foundation, right? But I had to become that person. I had to embody the version of myself that was going to create those things, right? I talked about, my book, the HeartBreak Handbook, that you can get on Amazon. It's your step-by-step guide to healing from heartbreak and like really stepping into and claiming your power. I wrote that book in 2021. 2021? Yeah, 2021. I did not release that book until this year, until 2025. Like I had it on an ebook and I kind of sold it a little bit, but like I did not really launch it out into the world until like this year because there is so many things that I needed to go through. There was so much growth that I needed to happen so that I could really stand in and own my power and my to just claim that yes, I am this author, that I made, like I created this book, I created this for people because I was still caught up in the version of me that was like a hairstylist, right? And even now sometimes I feel like I can get caught up into that identity, if that's what you want to say it. And let me tell you, when you have been stripped of every identity that you have ever used to prove your worth and your value, and you're sitting here and you're like, actually, Maybe I don't even really know who I am. Maybe I have no sniff and no clue who I am. Let me tell you, that is a turning point in your life where it's like, okay, this is okay, because now I get to really truly discover who I am, not all the labels and the projections and everything that everybody else has decided they want me to be for them, right? Or thought that I should be. Right. I can actually remember my mom never wanted me to be a hairstylist. She wanted me to go into like business admin, which is kind of funny because I do know a lot of business stuff now in order to like run businesses and everything. I've taken a lot of online business classes and everything, which is not a bad thing, but like school in me was never a thing. Even though I love learning on my own terms and what it is that I want to learn. Right. And actually, a side note, I find this the very prominent in kids that are struggling in school. It's not that they're not intelligent. It's not that they're not like, they're brilliant. They're brilliant little beings. They just don't fit into the curriculum and into the box that society wants them to fit into in regards to learning. Like they want them to learn their math and their science and their social and their whatever it is, right? And that's like of no interest to them. But if you ask them about things that they're knowledgeable about, my nephew, he could talk circles around me in regards to some things that he absolutely loves and is so passionate about, right? But just because like lots of these kids, and you're going to see more and more of these kids that are not going to be fitting into this box as we enter into the age of Aquarius. The educational system is really going to be shifting and changing, and you can already see that lots of parents are starting to like homeschool their kids, right? And I actually had a discussion with somebody about homeschooling because everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. And I always say, like, you can take it or leave it. I don't care. From my perspective and experience. And at one point in time, I remember this was like probably 10 years ago, I felt like homeschooled kids were not as social. Like they were maybe more socially awkward. But I know now that there is lots of like homeschool programs that get their kids together so that they can socialize and do things together. So I think that in itself is really beneficial. And I think that homeschooling kids also helps. I don't know why this is all coming up right now. I'm sorry. But that like homeschooling kids also helps them learn other things, other aspects that they're not getting in school that are really beneficial for them. So like homeschool your kids, don't homeschool your kids, send your kids to school. It doesn't matter. I sent my kids to school. I'm just saying that there's like going to be lots of ways that the education system is going to be transitioning, and not so strict in regards to like having to send your kids to school and sitting in a classroom all day and whatever else, right? I always say to each of their own, but you are definitely going to see, like we've already had this time, like if we want to get super wooey today, we've already had this timeline split, right? And you're going to see where there's a really big disconnect between people who decided to stay on the one timeline and people who are like going off into this other timeline, right? And that's okay. And you're probably going to meet up with some people from your past and you're going to be connecting with them and you're going to be like, wow, we are living on two separate planets. And like, or you'll be like, where are you living? Because I don't live there, kind of thing, right? You're going to feel that disconnect. You're really going to start to feel that disconnect. Like even on social media, I was scrolling and I came across somebody's post and I was like, did I just go back to like 1990? Like what just happened here? Like it was so bizarre, but you're going to notice more of that. Okay. If you're listening to me, you're going to notice more of that. Okay. Because you're on this timeline with me. And, yeah, like it's just so bizarre. And like being that we just had Christmas, I think family functions they, oh, are interesting to go back to your family function and to interact with so many people that you just like you don't resonate with anymore. Like you keep it very surface level, right? You're just like, how's the weather? How's the kids? What you doing? Da, 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 right? Like But if you're here with me, like you obviously crave like more in-depth conversation. Like you want that deepness. You want to really get to know somebody. You want to go down into the depths of the spiritual woo and everything else. And it was really funny because I was talking with my cousin and she was talking about horses and stuff. And she said, my back doesn't hurt when I'm riding my horse. And I was like, yes, because horses are healing. And I felt like it was the first time that I could actually just like, that was just like the one little nugget that I was able to plant right there. Right. And thankfully we are transitioning more to the world where like the holistic healing and everything is going to start to become more prominent with in regards to everything. And I think it's a beautiful thing to witness. And I think it's a beautiful thing to be a part of as well, right? That we're able to just like come out of the closet now, I feel like more so, and just be more expressive as who we are. And I always thought I was I was just gonna say, I always thought I was a witchy bitch. But I like always had that inside me. And I can remember the one time, and I might have talked about this before, but that I was at a family function and I kind of was talking about it with my aunts. Like, I kind of made a comment and they just kind of looked at me like, what the actual fuck? And then immediately in that moment, I was like, oh, we don't talk about this. We don't talk about this. And I feel like I had to kind of almost also drop the whole identity of being a bit wit. I was gonna say a bitch. Maybe still a bitch sometimes. I don't know, I'll claim it. Being a witch. Like, because I almost felt like that also kept me into a box, because I don't know if you know this or not, but as we um go further into our spiritual, like as we go further into the age of Aquarius and everything, like we are pulling on so many gifts from past lives, so many identities of past lives. Actually, now that I'm talking about it right now, I'm going to grab, it's coming to me, so many gifts from past lives that, are coming to the forefront now. It's like they're awakening, and we awaken them slowly, right? We step into one and then we embrace another. And it's like when you ask people about what they do, it's not just like, oh, I do Reiki. Like, I have my Reiki, but I've never identified as doing Reiki. But I do believe that Reiki is like the opening, like it's the stepping into the, that little doorway into the wooey world of like holistic healing and all of that kind of stuff. And even when we say holistic healing, like I feel like what I do is maybe a little bit off the cuff of what some other people do as well. Because I do incorporate whatever it is into my healing services or my coaching services or whatever it is that I'm working on. But lots of it is like past life and shadow work and like subconscious and, just whatever. It's like whatever it is that you need done, we make it happen with whatever skill set that I need to use. So it's really hard to explain to people when they're like, well, what do you do? It's like, well, what are the results you want, right? Is more so what I focus on. It's like, what are the results you want? So I'm being called to share with you from my goddess Isis Oracle card deck from Alana Fairchild. This is one of the first decks that I ever received. And the Goddess of 10,000 Names was a card that came to me as I was talking about like bringing all of our skills together from past lives, right? And it says Isis with many names, forms, associations, and expressions is referred to as the goddess of 10,000 names. A name holds power. It defines and energizes or limits. The names, faces, and roles that you play are just one part of your being, yet you exist beyond them. Be beloved initiate. As a vast being, you are currently realizing that you are not limited by previous identities you held. Instead, you are becoming more of your whole self. Enjoy the uncovering of even more of you. And that's literally what it is. It's an uncovering, right? It's stripping away all of these, like projections from other people that have been placed upon us. Um, like whose story are you actually living? There's a lot of times this year that I have had to stop myself and be like, whose story is this? Is this my story or is this my parents' story? Like, or is this like, am I still living this label of being like, well, the one that comes up the most is like being the fat girl, the fat friend, the whatever, right? Or the single friend. Like I'm always the single friend, right? Like or being the like single mom or whatever. Like I am still living those. And I'm like, I don't need to live those anymore. I've lived those. Like being the fat friend, lived that for like the past 43 years of my life, basically, right? Like being the single friend, lived that for the past 15 years of my life, right? And being, I don't even remember what the other one was, but it doesn't matter. Like, it's just like, are we living these stories anymore? Like, we do not know. We're not living these stories. I'm not taking on this identity anymore, right? And I think you need to stop yourself and think about that too. It's like, whose story am I actually living? Like, in regards to like maybe even money and finances, like, are those belief systems actually yours? No, they're probably your parents. You learned them, right? This is why I came up with like my money mindset makeover class, because like there's so many things like in regards to money and finances and all this stuff that like you don't have to live that. You don't. Right? You don't have to live their story. You get to create your own. And I feel like so many times we just take on everybody else's stuff and make it for our own. And you need to really stop and ask yourself, like, is this true? Do I actually believe this? Does this actually resonate with me? Because if it doesn't, then you need to let it go and not take it on, right? But in regards to a name, it's really funny because I had somebody ask me the other day, and I don't know if you've noticed this yet or not, but like um so Rieger is my married name. Like when I was married, it was Rieger, and I kept my last name because my girls, their last names are Rieger, and I didn't like. I wanted to be same. Like I wanted to be same with my kids. Like if the school called and whatever else, I wanted them to know who we were with together, right? That we were together, and then recently I was like, I don't want to be like I don't on social media and stuff. I was like, I don't really want to be Rieger anymore. I don't identify as being Rieger. And so I changed my last name back to Lockhart on social media. And well, that brought up a whole other like level of like, I'm not this person anymore either. Like I haven't been Chelon Lockhart since I was like 22 years old, right? And so like a name actually does hold weight, but it's like, are we do we want to like do we want to carry that, right? So I was like, I really think I just want to like drop it all and just be Chelon. Like I'm just gonna be Chelon. Maybe even Chelon Amanda, because Amanda's my middle name, right? So I was like, maybe it could be Chelon Amanda, right? But I was like, I could be like Beyonce, right? Like Chelon, like Beyonce. Like I feel like I could do that, right? And so it's really funny when it talks about like the 10,000 names and how it's like you are currently realizing that you're not limited by previous identities that you held. Instead, you're becoming more of your whole self. Enjoy the uncovering of even more of you. And that's really what it's about. Like this is what we also do in my group coaching program, Self Love Queen Academy. It's like an uncovering of even more of who you are. And this is kind of like what we want to talk about in the like be her. Like, who is she? Who is she? We spend so much of our lives running around doing everything for everybody else, playing the role of the mom, playing the role of the friend, playing the role of the daughter, of the sister, of the whatever. Like, but who are you? Who are you? And I think that's a really powerful place to just sit and maybe even just leave today's podcast for you to ponder and think like, who am I at the core? I always say, like, who are you being when nobody is watching? Because it's in those moments where it really matters the most. So, thank you very much for joining me today. And I am excited to be on this journey with you and see where it all unfolds, because it really is an unfolding and channeled information that I'm sharing with you and being called to share with you. And I'm excited to see where all of this goes. If you would like to work with me, like I said, I have my Self Love Queen Academy. It's going to be starting up in March. I'm also launching on January 1st. So if you're looking for more one on one support from me, I have the Sacred Reset that is going to be starting. And this is a group. It is a Facebook group, but it's going to have like guided meditations. It's going to have clearings. It's going to have light language, blessings, and healings, and oracle card readings, and whatever it is that is needing to support you and guide you through the energy that is happening in each month. So it'll be a monthly commitment with that. So if you're interested in any of that, please reach out to me. Like I said, I'm Chelon Lockard on Facebook and Chelon_b.her on Instagram. But I will leave the information for everything in the description. And I am just sending you so much love, and have a beautiful day. Take care.